At DePaco Credit Union, we value your health and happiness as much as your financial well-being. What's your dream? A trip? A new home? Or maybe it's a green electric bass guitar. No matter the goal, we're here to help you create a plan that helps you achieve it. Share your dreams with us, and we'll work with you to turn them into reality. Well-being is the key to a life worth loving. So when you think about yours, remember that DePaco can help you be well.
All things Hawkeyes. Your all-access pass from the sidelines to the postgame. Iowa's News Now Sports presents Eye on the Hawks. Sponsored by DePaco Community Credit Union and Pin Seekers.
You're 0-10 in your last 10 against ranked teams. What do you have to do differently this weekend to get a win?
Probably score more points than whoever it is we're playing. Yeah, that's about as good as I can do on that one.
A simple formula that Kirk Ferentz and the Hawkeyes will try to get to work for them for the first time in 11 matchups with ranked opponents. It's homecoming in Iowa City, and the Hoosiers, maybe the hottest team in all of college football, at least the most talked about over the last few days, comes to Kinnick Stadium as Iowa looks for that ranked upset for the first time in almost 4 years. Welcome to this pre-Indiana edition of Eye on the Hawks. Mitch Fick, Owen Sebring, Mike Howell here on a Wednesday. Director Erica running the show behind the scenes. Thanks to everybody who is listening wherever you get your podcast. We always appreciate that. But again, the Iowa's News Now YouTube channel is where you can go to see the video version of the podcast. We got all our highlights, none from Rutgers because we didn't go to Piscataway, but lots of other stuff from the rest of the year. We've had a really good shooting year on the fields there at Jack Trice and at Kinnick Stadium as well. You can also get our full cuts of all of our Tuesday player interviews. Got like a half hour of stuff from Mark Gronowski and company, so you can head to the Iowa's News Now channel and on YouTube and watch all of that. Our Hawkeye highlight this week is when DJ Venami from Carroll Kemper, now on scholarship and settling into tight end, had a great play at Rutgers in that 38-28 win for the Hawkeyes. And we'll also do something that we haven't done in any podcast so far this season, not start with the offense. We will hear from Mark Gronowski and company, though, about what Indiana's defense brings to the table. But we start by teeing it up, courtesy of Speakers, with a look at everything Indiana, but particularly that offense, which is led by maybe your leader in the clubhouse right now for the Heisman Trophy, Fernando Mendoza. We'll hear about him in a little bit, but you see the numbers right there on your screen if you're watching on YouTube. Third in scoring nationally, second in total offense, third in rush defense, 27th in pass offense, or well, rush defense, or rush offense, I should say, is up there. They're really good. That's what I'm getting at. And the fellas, Jalen Watson, Deshaun Lee, and Jackson Rexroth, along with Coach Ferentz, will tell you all about it too.
Well, he's just really good with his eyes. He's great with that read, and when he makes his decision, he makes it fast, and he's confident about it. But there's a lot of things that we can do to take that away. Tight coverage, helps, and then also us hitting our fits fast at the same time. Depending if we need to be fast or slow, that can always affect his read. So, a lot of it does come down to who he's reading and what that guy's doing. But there's a lot of things we can do to help stop that.
I think last week was a great matchup for us, to be able to see that and be able to realize, okay, yeah, there's a couple of things we might have to fix. So I think going out there last week and seeing that is going to definitely help us go out here this week and be able to be better on the defense side of the ball.
They got a lot of playmakers on the offensive side, man. They got a really well coached team, good offense. A lot of guys played together. So you definitely got to be detailed. Focus on the details. That's the main thing. Just focusing on the details, giving maximum effort and practice, just so you can have a great chance, a great opportunity come game time.
They're very fundamentally sound, right? And they're very physical. I think their coach over there, he has them play hard. I bet their practices are, extremely physical, extremely violent. We tried to do the same stuff. So I think a lot of it is, they get a guy in a gap and they move that guy out of that gap. So a lot of it's going to be us being sound in our gaps and the run fits, while also, swarming that ball carrier. If those running backs have one guy on them, hopefully we make that tackle, but, we got to get as many guys as we can on that running back.
I think first we just need to stop the run so we'll be able to make them one-dimensional. And then after that, it just comes down to us communicating the back end, just trying to do our job. Hopefully get some pressure in his face, make him a little bit uncomfortable, throw some off-platform throws, just try to do our job from there.
They got a lot of yards against Illinois after missed tackles, so that's going to be the focus every week, but just even more so that they can't get anything extra. What has that focus been?
Yeah, we definitely just got to, just play our alignments, play our keys, and we got to wrap up. We got to just make sure sure we get a ball handler down with the first tackle because, like you said, they're great yards after contact. So, that's a big point this week, just trying to wrap up and tackle. And
in the backfield, they got two really good running backs right now, and then the quarterback might be the best quarterback in the country. Somebody was saying he's a leader for the Heisman. I don't have a Heisman vote, but I'd vote for him based on what I saw. He looks really good, too. He gets the ball out extremely quick. It's going to be tough to even get a hand on him, and he'll run it. But when he runs it, they've got designed runs for him, and then they also have he'll flush out, but he's looking down. He'll look to make a throw on the run, which is really tough to defend. And then on top of it, they're playing really good on defense. They're very aggressive, and they're good at playing with the lead, which they've pretty much been doing all season long. I forgot about special teams, right? First touchdown was a block punt. Other than that, there's no problem.
Yeah, other than all that, but it might be a time for T.J. Hall, Deshaun Lee, Jalen Watson, Cohen Entringer, Zach Lutmer, Xavier Wampa to get the PBU skills up like we saw in Ames a few weeks ago. T.J. Hall now tied for the national lead with 6 PBUs, 3 there in Ames, 3 in Piscataway on Friday. But, fellas, how do we feel about this team that everybody's talking about, this quarterback that hasn't thrown a pick, that's had 3 incompletions the last 2 games? Wow. Rolling into Iowa City against the Hawkeye team that, boy, folks were feeling good about them Friday night, getting in a shootout, getting a win, and now all of a sudden, here comes Indiana ready for a shootout and game for anything.
So much understandable talk about Fernando Mendoza, a guy who certainly not many people would have been talking about coming into the year after a couple seasons he played at Cal. But 14 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. He's only been sacked 3 times. Boy, the rushing game is so good for that team, too. Right now you have 4 running backs who are over 200 yards this season. We mentioned Kalen Black and Kobe Martin. We've also got Roman Hemby and Lee Beebe over 200. That doesn't include Mendoza, who has 2 rushing touchdowns this year. The kicking game is so good. Nobody in the country has attempted more PATs than their kicker, whose name is something Minichich. Something to that nature. But he's got 30. He's 30 for 30 on PATs, 3 for 3 on made field goals. Team's good in the red zone. Truly, there's just no weak spot. And what Coach Curt Cignetti has done over there really is remarkable.
Yeah, and, for those who like to throw a little money on sports, not encouraging that, not, promoting that, but Fernando Mendoza is the favorite on the most 2 popular apps, FanDuel and DraftKings at plus 700, plus 850. I was kind of surprised at that. Not so much just because a little bit, here and there, but after Saturday's performance, but he's earned it though. I know they played outside of Illinois, top 10 team, just kind of a softer schedule, but so was most of college football so far. But like you said, only sacked 3 times. His pass completion is over 70%. It's close to 80 when he's kept clean in the pocket. Goes down to 55 when he's pressured. Only 14 pressures, though, along with those 3 sacks all season. So the offensive line does a really good job of keeping him clean. That might be a key to the game. I know we've been wondering what this Iowa defense is. The good performances, have they been because they were against lesser opponents, although they did play well against Iowa State. We're going to see it this week to see what they really are.
13 incompletions against Old Dominion, 7 against Kennesaw State, 1 against Indiana State, 2 against Illinois. Wow. He has been so efficient, 40 of 43 his last 2 games. I'll eat crow. We were talking about those Big Ten preseason quarterback rankings in the summer, and he was 5th, as high as 5th on some of those lists. Gronowski was middle of the pack, and I thought, how do you give this kid who had a good year at Cal, all respect to him, but then put him over a guy who's played 50-plus games and won 2 natties and been National Player of the Year? He is the perfect fit for what Cignetti wants to do, and if you watched Saturday's game, throw out the box score and just watch him. That is a master class in how to run the RPO. He was fantastic. Mm-hmm. He identifies coverages so quickly, and it stayed sharp from beginning to end. Even that 7th touchdown of the night, they brought the linebackers on a blitz. The slot receiver was one-on-one. He knew it immediately. The minute those linebackers took 2 steps forward, he's looking, and before his guy's out of the break, that ball's out. And then when they keep it on the RPO and put it in the running back's hands, and they've got some great running backs, as Owen alluded to, Illinois had a linebacker just freeze. It was like, if
I remember that play.
It was like a controller died. If you were playing College Football 26 on PS5 or Xbox or anything, he just stopped. And and that was well into their execution of the RPO, that they were hitting the pass so well. He was keeping it every once in a while. I don't even know if he kept it that much, but just that was a masterclass on how to run that offense. He's so accurate. He's got He doesn't have a 6'6" wide receiver like Rutgers has in KJ Duff, but he's got an Ian Strong-esque guy in Surratt. You've got Omar Cooper, who
he's good.
Who's not just a great receiver; he's their leading receiver right now. He's got a Jacob Gillish tendency to be a fantastic run blocker too. Mm-hmm. They used him in there. They used the tight end screen that we saw for DJ have 20 plus in Piscataway. They ran almost the exact same play and scored a touchdown on it. It was DJ's longest catch ever. Give the kid a break. And he's a bigger wide receiver there, a bigger tight end. We'll hear from him in a bit. But you just could not have done any better. Illinois did themselves zero favors. They were down maybe their best defensive back, lost another one to a targeting call. They couldn't wrap up to save their lives. You heard Jalen Watson talking about that, just the amount of extra yardage given up. He also said going up against Rutgers and those big physical wide receivers and a great quarterback in Cadillac Manis just on Friday, on top of getting an extra day to prep. Mark Gronowski told me they're ahead of schedule on the prepping for that defense. We'll talk about that in a bit. But the fact that they just went up against a really good receiving core that attacked them downfield, gave up, Iowa's defense gave up a ton of yardage, more than they were averaging for an entire game on Friday in those first three drives. Thought that's kind of the preparation you want. Then you go look back at what Old Dominion did in that opener. And again, it's Old Dominion, it's almost a month ago, but they were the ones playing bump coverage on these receivers, getting pressure on Mendoza, being disruptive. If you want a blueprint on how to slow this Indiana offense down, don't look at the Big Ten. Maybe go look at the Sun Belt and what the Monarchs did back in week one, because that might be the way to slow these guys down. And again, now you've got an offense that maybe can get you in a shootout, and you throw a little Kinnick magic in there, and maybe that's the formula that you can keep this thing from getting out of hand early or getting away from you late.
I wouldn't even suggest for people to turn up their nose too much at Indiana's schedule they've played so far. Obviously, that Illinois win is incredibly impressive.
Yes.
But along with that, you have an Old Dominion team that just beat Virginia Tech by 19.
Real well.
Old Dominion is a really solid Group 5 team.
Virginia Tech's also fired their coach.
They are not a great team, frankly.
No,
Virginia Tech is not in a good place right now. But Old Dominion still, for them to win that game by that much. And Kennesaw State even. They just beat Arkansas State, who went toe-to-toe, nearly pulled off an upset against Iowa State. This is a team that has beat, even though they don't have the name recognition with some of those opponents. Let's not talk about Indiana State. That's a program that's in the dumpster every year no matter what. But still, even their quote-unquote lesser opponents until Illinois, Indiana has handled them with ease for over the first 4 weeks of the season.
Yeah, and I think it's a good point Mitch brought up that, Iowa just played in a shootout. Now, as an Iowa fan, I think we're all conditioned to be like, if it's going to be a shootout, it makes me nervous. But you just saw they did win a road game at Rutgers in that format. Obviously Indiana's a different beast. So I think if you're Iowa, you kind of want to hope to control the line of scrimmage, control the time of possession, and not let it get to that 30, 40-point game, because I just don't know if this offense is there yet to go pound or punch for punch with a team like this.
Yeah, and that was a conversation I know yesterday during media availability was that the offense now knows that they can get a team back in a game. That's
definitely
what they did against Rutgers.
Booster.
Which they have not done. It's been all defense and special teams that's had to do that the last few years.
We've heard from Mark and Dayton Howard, who you're going to hear from a little bit as we'll just shift in. And thank you to Pin Seekers for teeing it up with us to talk about the defense going up against the Indiana offense. We'll turn now to talk about the Indiana defense and what Iowa's offense is looking at. They've talked about confidence more and more, and this is a group that sees what Indiana did in the front four and put a lot of pressure on Luke Altmaier and company. But here's what the Hawkeye a couple offensive linemen, Mark Gronowski and Dayton Howard, had to say about what's on the table with that Hoosier defense coming to Iowa City.
They've had a couple turnovers that they've gotten out there, and a lot of teams haven't been able to move the ball that greatly on them, and they just run a ton of different things. They try to disguise a lot. They try to throw a bunch of different coverages at you, just trying to confuse the offense, try to confuse the quarterback. So we're trying to do a lot just in the film room, having to watch a lot and have a bunch of different looks out in the practice field, and it's helping a lot to just see a bunch of different looks to understand what we could possibly be getting on different plays, and it's going to just allow me to play faster on Saturday.
Yeah, you watch their D-line, and there's just a lot of movement going on, and they got some veteran players, super good up front, man. They got some big bodies too, and it always starts up front, right? That's where you win or lose games, and they've done a great job defensively up front. I think that's where it starts for them. But yeah, just a whole lot of movement, games, whole bunch of stuff making it hard on us, trying to slow us down a little bit. So it's going to present a good challenge for sure.
And they just played hard and they showed up ready to go. I mean, I know that sounds pretty simple, but they showed up from the start and pretty much got after them. So they have a really great defense, great offense. They're a great team, and we're going to be ready to go.
I feel like we can compete with any team in the nation just based off what I've seen in our locker room, on the field, on our defense, offense, special teams, like all three phases. Like we are capable of doing anything. It just matters how well we execute and if we just play to our best of our ability. But like you said, like our offense is trending in a really good direction right now, and I feel like it's only going to get better each day, each week. The more we keep preparing and putting certain plays together, picking apart defenses, I feel like we can really get something going here.
And we're going to have to really be aggressive and be smart, but not reckless either. You can't be reckless because you give these guys a short field. That's probably not a great play either. So just got to kind of judge the situation and gauge it. But yeah, we'd prefer to be a little bit more aggressive if we could anytime. I think we have a chance now to hopefully be a team that can score a little bit more than we have the last couple of years. That's been part of the goal.
Iowa's offense certainly has looked better and better each and every week. Gronowski seems to have grown his best game as a Hawk, certainly on Friday in Piscataway. Caden Weegan continues to find a niche. It does sound like Seth Anderson will be all right after a 2-touchdown performance against UMass. Went down with an injury against Rutgers. Sounds like he'll be good to go. Jazz Patterson will not be available. Xavier Williams also out, so it will be Kamari Moulton and TJ Washington and Nathan McNeil. Fans been wanting him since the spring. He's your number 3 right now, so we'll see more of him maybe against the Hoosiers and that defense that looked great against an Illinois front that seemed absolutely overwhelmed. Do we feel more confident? The Hawkeyes have voiced about their confidence. Do you have more faith in what the Iowa O can do over the last couple weeks against the defense that looks great, looked dominant on Saturday, but hey, this is a Hawkeye team that wins shootouts now?
It is a growing level of confidence. Certainly, Mark Gronowski his yardage has improved each of his first 4 games so far. His last 2 games, he's completed exactly 66.666, etc. percent of his passes. So the confidence is growing. Do I think they have a chance to keep up with Indiana? No, I don't really think that, but it is a growing level of confidence that they will need, because over the next 6 weeks, they have 3 games against top 15 opponents, because Oregon and Penn State are coming up as well, not to mention the Wisconsin and the Minnesota games over that span also. So it's a team that needs to keep growing the offense if they want to keep up with the rest of the Big Ten. But boy, you got to think that that's going to be a hard challenge to keep up against Indiana, who right now, I mean, we've talked all about their offense, but yeah, the defense is 3rd in the Big Ten in points allowed this season.
Here's some other stats that a lot of them, to me, and I knew this team was good. I didn't watch any of their first 3 games. I watched the Illinois game that were shocking. So Indiana leads the country tackles for loss, 43, 10 a game. 6. Really? They had 6 in the first quarter last year against Illinois. 15 sacks is 6th best in the country. That's amazing. And this one, it was hard to believe. I saw it on the NCAA stat. They've only allowed 2 red zone appearances. Now, that doesn't account for like the touchdown that came like 30 yards, 40 yards. Yeah. And they allowed 2 rushing TDs on there, but only 2 appearances all season. Illinois didn't get in the red zone. They kicked a field goal from like 38, and the 1 touchdown was over the top for about 50 or whatever it was. Only their defenses opposing offenses have gone for it on 4th down twice, have not gotten it yet. Iowa has gone for it more on 4th this year than they have in previous years. And on 3rd down percentage, 9 for 47, 19%. That's insane. Wow.
I think you're talking about that over-the-top touchdown, that Illinois, the one shining moment for Illinois. There seemed to be some defensive backfield confusion there. I think that the corner thought a safety was going to take over when that safety did not take over, and that dude just stopped, and that guy had a streak to the end zone. So maybe you hope for that. Maybe a little miscommunication there. I go back to Old Dominion. More than 1/3 of the rushing yards that Indiana's defense has given up came on 2 plays, courtesy of Colton Jordan, who's the quarterback for Old Dominion. Had a 75-yard touchdown run on the first play of the season in Bloomington, and then in the 4th quarter ended the scoring for the Monarchs with a 78-yard touchdown. Who do we know in the Iowa backfield under center who can run a little bit? Mark Gronowski's got an 80-yard touchdown on his resume from his college career. He can move, and I think that's how, with all these different looks you get, there's an opportunity for him to expose, and I know it was 4 weeks ago against the Sun Belt team. Luke Altmaier's not going to tuck and run the way Mark Gronowski can, None of these other quarterbacks that they've gone up against can do that as well. I know we want to see Mark push it downfield and keep open to that passing game. There's going to be a chance for him and anybody else in that backfield to maybe start building on what we saw with Old Dominion back in late August of opportunities to get this defense a little off kilter, move the ball, and maybe get some explosive plays on the ground, which we haven't really seen since Xavier Williams in the opener against Albany. Maybe that's a key that Iowa can get them a little off center, make them suck up on the run, and then there's your passing game opening up again.
Maybe that is the key, because Luke Altmaier did, like you said, had a couple.
He had
successful,
no time to do anything.
No, not really. But on the ground, he did pick up a couple first downs there. And I wonder if you're looking for that explosive back. Kamari Moulton obviously only played the first series and then came back last week. He can give you that. Who's the other one, like you mentioned? I think Nathan McNeil. I mean, he's only shown you a little bit in the game, but he is explosive. And what was his only run, like 14 yards or 10 yards?
10 yards in a face mask.
Yeah.
And he had a couple nice carries in cleanup duty against Albany, and I think got in there in UMass a little bit. And then T.J. Washington, I mean, that little jet they run with him where Trevor Laux 10 yards downfield decleating defensive backs, love it. Continue to have more of it. And Jacob Gill with a perfect seal on the left side of that as that jet got going. I mean, you've got opportunities to just get them off balance, get their eyes moving. It's what you're going to have to do against a defense that has had a ton of success and is going to throw a bunch of different stuff at you. It's going to be smoke and mirrors on both sides to just see who can blink. I mean, it's going to be all about eyes and angles.
This is maybe a different question maybe for the bye week next week, but through the first 4 weeks of the season, is Indiana the best team in the Big Ten right now?
Oregon's really good.
Yeah, I was about to say
Oregon's really good.
Penn
State's coming off a bye,
and Ohio State's your national title winners from last year.
But if you're going again, it's the moment. And the truth is in the middle. Is Indiana the team that's 53 points better than a team that was ranked in the top 10 4, 5, 6 days ago, or are they closer to the team that kind of had a little issue against what seems to be a pretty good Sun Belt team? They're somewhere in the middle. I think they've got every opportunity to go chase and compete for a Big Ten title, but it's also still only September. We've got and we'll learn a lot. We'll learn a lot in Happy Valley this week too about who's at the top of the Big Ten right now. And hey, Ohio State's got no cupcake walk. They're going out to Washington. That's way too big of a spread in my opinion. We're not picking that game, but you're going to learn a lot about the top of the Big Ten this week.
I do wonder a little bit though about that Old Dominion game, and I know it was probably good tape, and I'm sure the coaches are looking at that. If that would Indiana did have a lot of transfers. I wonder if, just like Iowa's offense, if they're gelling, and are they more of last week or are they more week one? I mean, like last week, there are some breakdowns though that Iowa hopefully can exploit. But when you do, you have to take advantage, right? You have to make those plays, and Iowa did last week. Although there were a few that weren't made, didn't have to win. We'll see this week.
Lots to look at certainly as we get into that 2:30 kick at Kinnick Stadium against Indiana. And again, we talked about just what a big weekend it is in the Big Ten, where we'll have our picks coming up in a little bit. But we turn now to our Hawkeye highlight, the one guy that we talked to on Tuesday that you haven't heard from yet today. DJ Venami had a big play against Rutgers. Again, that 21-yard screen we talked about. Redshirt freshman from Carroll Kemper. He's on scholarship now. He looks the part of the next guy from tight end U. We talked to him on Tuesday about just his journey getting settled in. Now that Addison Ostrenga's out, he's got a bigger role to play. Why he thinks Hayden Large is the heart and soul of Hawkeye football, not just that tight end room, what he's learned from Abdul Hajj, what Raymond Braithwaite's taught him in the strength and conditioning side of things. Here he is, our Hawkeye highlight this week, DJ Venami.
How long have you guys been working on a screen like that? And just to have that much green in front of you when you catch the ball has got to be great.
Well, we actually just put it in this week, but we ran it before in camp, so it was actually, when we ran it in practice, it was like almost like the exact same scenario. Just all that grass. The line did a really good job of selling it.
What's been your journey the last year or so, growing into a role now with Addison out, that role expands, and just, is this where you were picturing yourself to be, becoming a bigger and bigger part of the offense coming into this season?
This early, honestly, no. I mean, last year I was a scout team guy, just kind of figuring out everything, just trying to do the best I could, really. And then after the bye week, I kind of started to gain some more traction, and then I moved over, start working with the offense throughout the middle of the season, and then I got on some special teams towards the end of the year last year, and then I've just kind of built from there. Had a good winter, had a good spring, and then just kept continuing to build off of that and gain the coach's trust.
Yeah. Any welcome to college football moments in practice last year, or even this year, as you keep learning tight end?
Definitely, we have this drill where kind of just linebacker versus tight end, just going against each other. I kind of definitely got put on my butt a few times.
Who did it?
I can't remember, but I remember it was not a good feeling.
Are you starting to turn the tide in drills like that, though?
Yeah, oh, definitely.
What's Ray done for you, just getting in the weight room and helping out in that program?
Oh, he's been huge. He's been huge. Just kind of building me on like a plan of because I came in 210. Just telling me what to do and how I need to level up if I want to, because you can't play tight end in the Big Ten at 210. No.
What are you now?
240.
That's 30 pounds is a lot more than just lift heavy stuff and eat. I mean, just what kind of journey is that to put on more than 10% of your body weight from last year?
It was definitely a journey, just constantly eating. I mean, I think I ate every 2 hours, just constantly, just always shoving food down my throat. So yeah.
It's not fun.
No, it turns into a chore. It really does turn into a chore. Just got to find enjoyment in it, I guess.
Is there anything you've got done in the weight room in the last year that you're particularly proud of, whether it's a lift or a number or anything like that?
I definitely say my lower body strength. I'm really happy with my growth there, especially. So.
What's Abdul helped you with so far?
Just really, I feel like the most thing he's helped me with is my love of the game. Like he really pushes me to be the best, because you got to really love it. You got to really love it. Like, this is a grind. So I'd say definitely that, and my run blocking. Sure. My run blocking. I didn't do any run blocking in high school, so coming here was definitely a challenge to get through that. But I feel like I'm just continually growing in that area of my game.
A guy like Hayden feels like he's embraced anything and everything he's had to do. What has he meant to you as you grow in the program and hopefully continue the legacy?
I feel like he's like the heart and soul, not only the tight end room, but the team. The way he goes about everything, the way he works, the way he acts, it's everything that you would want to be.
What's his pregame hype speech like?
Oh, it gets me going. I don't really listen to the words, just how he says it, which is really what gets me going.
Yeah, big things expected, I think, from DJ Venami as we move forward. Had his first career catch on that final drive for Iowa in Ames, had another one there against UMass, and then, of course, the big one against Rutgers. And, boy, you look at him, and he's filled out into that 240. That is a well-put-together 240. You can't help but wonder what his future is going to continue to be in Iowa. For a guy that wasn't playing tight end around this time last year, he is certainly filled out and seems to be the next heir apparent to the tight end U crown.
And I think it was a couple weeks ago that we asked, okay, who is going to be that next tight end touchdown, because we've been waiting a while for a tight end score, and we're still waiting. Venami certainly a high candidate right now. I think I talked to him in the preseason on Media Day just because he was a name we'd talked about a little bit, and we had to get the pronunciation of the name right. Venami? Yes, Venami. I'm saying that Venami. You're sure? Yes, Venami. But he is a nice kid. Very, very personable. We love our folks from Carroll Kemper especially. And he's a nice kid and got a bright future.
You just said it, Owen, and I feel like I'm dumb. I still don't know. No, I'm just kidding. No, it's good to see, because when you lose Addison, you're like, oh crap, is tight end, you're going to have another good tight end, and still, it's kind of weird this season. I just looked it up. Receiver catches this year, 28. Tight ends, 12. Yeah. That's kind of it's a welcome sight, because you want to see the receivers more involved, because that's their job. But I do think as the season progresses, we'll see more of DJ and more of Zach and Hayden as well. I mean, he has 4 catches on the season.
I think he might be the leading tight end.
Him and Artworth have 4.
Artworth both have 4. Yeah. I mean, and hey, this podcast. We love some Hayden Large talk. Pride of Hudsonville, Michigan, standing out. And yeah, he's been, I think in East Lansing, he was firing up the tight end circle, and you had a shot of that, and that was kind of our preseason pick of boy, it feels like he takes over from Max White with the pregame hype, and he has. And yeah, you don't need to. It's like DJ said, you don't need to hear the words. You just see his intensity and his vibe, and yeah, that'll get you going.
I do have a Hayden Large anecdote to share. Actually, him and Zach Orworth are tied in catches. Each have 4 catches this year. But we were down in the media area before the UMass game, I think, and one of the guys that, they have 3 guys down there were handing out the photo vest to us who just kind of keep an eye on things, make sure everything's all right in the media room. And I heard one of them, he was looking at the roster and he goes, "What and where is Dordt University? Dordt, what's this?" And I was like, I just happened to be standing there, and I go, "Oh, Dordt, that's up in Sioux Center, Northwest Iowa." And he's like, "Oh, okay, this Hayden Large, I'm like, "Yeah, he transferred in. And he's just here this year." And I'm like, "No, he's been here for 3 seasons." So I was like, boy, we might be a little overcompensating in the Hayden Large conversations on this topic, just because you used to work where he went to high school. I used to work where he played college ball, and he's just a fun and likable guy. So probably talking about Hayden Large on this podcast maybe more than the rest.
You know, we're covering up the shortcomings of everybody else who's not talking about it. And if you're a Lions fan, Isaac Tesla, they used to run the 4x1 and 4x2 together in high school. That was his high school quarterback. They ran the wing T, so it's not like he's airing it out to him a whole bunch, and Hayden was the running back. But, boy, Unity Christian 2018, 2019, they were running the show there in West Michigan. Well, of course, back at home after a Friday night game in Piscataway, Rebecca Kolpman back to give us a weather first forecast on what should be a picture-perfect, maybe a little hot homecoming game for the Hawkeyes.
Well, hey there, guys. Last time we were inside Kinnick, it was a very different story than what's happening this weekend. It was very hot 2 weeks ago, and this weekend it is going to be on the warmer side, but thankfully it's going to be pretty nice relative to that. Temperatures are going to be in the 70s for tailgating. It's going to be sunny. It's going to be nice, not too humid out there. And at kickoff, temperatures will be in the low 80s and through the game, peaking in the low 80s range. Winds staying light. It will be feeling a little toasty under that sunshine, but thankfully it's not going to be very uncomfortable at all. So we have a pretty nice day coming up for it, and hopefully you can enjoy. Make sure you keep the sunscreen on, though, as we have that 2:30 kick.
Yeah, 2:30 on an 80-degree day. That's good, clean fun for everybody. So dress appropriately, hydrate, and we'll see you down there at Kinnick. On Saturday, we didn't have a chance to recap 75% of our picks because 75% of those games hadn't happened. But a 2-2 week for yours truly, 3-1 for everybody else. We took some swings, and as I just said during Rebecca's forecast, I was so convinced that Nebraska spread was 3.5, and so in my mind for a while I was happy. There you go, 8-7. The boys 8-7-1 are tied for first, and I'm still trying to shake off week one there, but we're doing our best with the picks. And again, this is a heck of a weekend across the Big Ten. We don't even have, again, Ohio State at Washington on here. That's, I think, up to an 8.5-point spread for the Buckeyes. But boy, Damon Williams and company, watch out for the Huskies there in that game. But we're going to start with the Caliac-Manis Bowl and the Sriracha Bowl as well.
Game. I didn't think about that. I don't know why.
8th and Caliac-Manis, and Curt Sriracha returning to Minnesota, where they spent many years. As Kirk's time goes back to, with PJ Fleck, goes back to Western Michigan. He was the OC when I was covering the Broncos. Rutgers at Minnesota. The Gophers a 4.5-point favorite and an 11 a.m. kick on BTN. What does Rutgers do with an extra week of preparation before they hit the road for a big game for a bunch of guys on that team? And Greg Schiano and PJ Fleck go way, way back.
Yeah, I have to say that I was impressed with what Rutgers showed last week against Iowa. Still fleshing things out a little bit to see what each of these teams really is made of, what defines each of these teams. But Minnesota is coming off a bye week, coming off before that loss to California on the road. I kind of like Rutgers going into this game, I think, to, if nothing else, at least keep it close.
Yeah, like you mentioned, both coming off their first loss. I think this really we'll see like if this Rutgers win was a good win, or if Minnesota can bounce back. I think I saw Darius Taylor set to return. I don't think he played against Cal. Is that right?
I haven't seen that yet. No.
Okay. I think this game will be close either way, so I'm going to take the points with Rutgers. I don't know who wins this.
I'm going to do this. I think this comes down to it. This could be a 21-17 or 24-20 game. I think that 4.5 rather than a 3.5 gives you a little leeway. So I will take Rutgers. It wouldn't shock me if Minnesota wins, but again, that Rutgers offense looks really good. We'll see if John Nestor, former Hawkeye, maybe he can step in and be a doughboy north of the border there and help out. But Drake Lindsay against 8th and Caliac-Manis, I'll maybe give a little bit of an edge to Caliac-Manis, and what a story that would be to go back into Minnesota again with Sriracha in that offense as well. So we'll see. That's going to be a heck of a game at 11 a.m. Also at 11 a.m., and you can watch this one on Fox 28, USC, a 6.5-point favorite at number 23, Illinois. Can the Illini bounce back at home against the USC team that, well, you want to talk about an offensive football team that's moving the ball, and Iowa's got to keep an eye on them down the road. Can USC go into Champaign and really start making things miserable for the Illini?
Maybe it's just our Midwest bias that we haven't been talking about USC a whole lot this year. Boy, that is a really good football team, including Jada Mayava, who's first in the Big Ten with 1,223 passing yards this season. As I mentioned earlier, I think 9 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. After Mendoza, he might be the best quarterback in the Big Ten. Especially after what I saw out of Illinois' defense last week, I have to like USC in this one.
Yeah, Maeva is on those Heisman, top 5 of the Heisman for the betting odds too. Him and Dante Moore, so a lot of good quarterbacks in the Big Ten.
There are, yeah.
Who did you pick? You picked USC to cover?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right. I think, USC last year was 0-3 on the road when they had to travel east off the West Coast.
Okay.
They did beat, I think, Washington and UCLA, which is in the same town. But I still think they're going to win. I just think, Illinois is still a good team. I don't think that was a, I won't say it was a fluky win, Indiana, because it's a good team.
But not indicative of who they are.
Exactly, yeah. You said it way better than I could have. So I'm going to take Illinois with the points there.
I knew what you're going for.
Yeah, it's Illinois is not 53 points worse than Indiana. It's really they just at some point, we've talked about this in games past with Iowa, at Penn State in 23, that jumps out to me, that at some point, like, the floodgates open and a game that's like 17-0 turns into 35-0 or whatever that final score was in Happy Valley in 2023, where everyone just gets exhausted and things just kind of fall apart. And that's kind of what happened to Illinois. Just got bulldozed for 2.5 quarters, and then the wheels really, really came off. I think they're a lot better than they showed on Saturday night. USC coming into the Heartland. I think USC can win, but boy, that half point there with the 6 maybe helps out quite a bit. So I'll take Illinois to cover. But again, wouldn't shock me if USC really makes a statement and Illinois takes a big fall in a 2-week span with 2 losses. Game of the week in the Big Ten, maybe the game of the week, not maybe, definitely the game of the week in the entire country. Number 6 Oregon flies all the way across the country to a whiteout night game in Happy Valley against number 3 Penn State. Nittany Lions, 3.5-point favorites, coming off a bye, 6:30 kick on NBC. What an environment that's going to be.
Boy, this really is going to be a phenomenal one. So I do think that Penn State has a good chance to win this game. I think that obviously they're higher ranked, so that shouldn't be a surprise. But Oregon has really looked like maybe one of the best teams in the country for the first 4 games. Penn State's coming off a bye week. They get this game at home. I think Penn State wins, but I think I would like Oregon to keep it within 3.5.
Before the season, I thought Penn State was going to be the best team in college football. Through 4 weeks, I still think they're a very good team, could win a national title, or could contend for one, I should say. But I think Oregon's looked more impressive. And again, none of these teams have been tested yet by like a legitimate, a top half Power 5 team.
Sure.
And these 2 coaches, too, have been criticized in the past for not being able to win the big one. Even though Dan Lanning in Oregon won a Big Ten title game last year, or they won the title game last year, they lost in their first playoff game. And then those 2 years when Washington won the Pac-12 in the last year, they lost both games to Washington. I have no idea who's going to win. I'm going to go with Oregon, though, because I do think through the 4 games, I think they've been the better squad.
It's going to be really tough. That half point there with the spread really helps because this could just be a field goal game. Mm-hmm. They run the ball so well, Penn State does. Northwestern ran, if you take the sacks out, for 200+ on Oregon in Evanston a couple weeks ago. I'm going to take Penn State. I think it's at home. James Franklin needs to beat a top-tier team. And I think Oregon's the better team, but I think night game, whiteout in Happy Valley, all those, the fact that Oregon has struggled stopping the run, or does Penn State do better than almost anybody in the country with 2 of the best backs in the country, the best tandem, you could argue. I think Penn State can get it done in a great atmosphere in Happy Valley. And then we move back to 2:30 Saturday on Peacock. Number 11 Indiana, 7.5-point favorite at Iowa on homecoming for the Hawkeyes.
Before I get to my pick, this is just something I'm learning on this podcast. You guys have been studying more than me, so maybe you've already known this. But do you know why Fernando Mendoza came to Indiana?
His brother's there.
His brother is there. Yes, he
didn't follow him.
Yes,
I know he got in the game last week, so I knew they were together. I just didn't know.
Yeah, so Alberto Mendoza is a redshirt freshman for Indiana. Played a little bit last year. They both threw a touchdown pass against Kennesaw State this year. They're the first brother combination to throw a touchdown pass in the same game since Arkansas did it in 2015. So. Could be a Mendoza legacy that we're starting at Indiana.
Is that the Allen brothers at Arkansas?
That's incredibly good trivia.
Brandon Allen and his brother?
You're almost right. Brady and Austin Allen.
Brady and Austin.
2015 against UT Martin. I mean, yes, this is not a game that's going to look like the Indiana-Illinois game last week, but I really do think that Indiana still could win this game by 2 touchdowns, 17, 21 points even. I definitely am taking Indiana.
I really had hoped Indiana would take a step back, and last season was a fluke when I saw this game on the schedule. That's just not the case. Indiana is really good, and I can hope as a joke that Curt Cignetti is like the coach of Florida next year once they fire that coach. I do think this game will be closer than Indiana's game last week. Yeah. I think Iowa will be in it. I do think, though, that Indiana pulls away late in the fourth quarter and maybe wins by 8 or 10. I think the offense is getting there. I don't think it can go punch for punch for Indiana, so unless there's a couple turnovers in Iowa's favor or big special teams play, which we've seen, but those are still big ifs. And Indiana's had big ones, too, on special teams.
They've only turned the ball over once this year, too, by the way.
Yeah.
Iowa's not far behind. I think only 2 turnovers this season, but still not a team that is careless.
Yeah, exactly. So unless they go out of character and turn the ball over 2 or 3, multiple times, I just don't see Iowa's offense standing toe-to-toe with Indiana's at this point in the season.
I forgot to mention Trevor Lauk, Indianapolis native. His brother's a freshman at Indiana.
Ooh.
His mom's an Indiana grad. He said there will be 30 members of his family. He's been asking anybody and everybody for tickets to fill spots. He said everybody will be in black and gold. So Trevor Lauk, who grew up with heritage with Notre Dame, we heard about that in our Hawkeye highlight a couple weeks ago. Grew up in Indiana, but now fully entrenched in Iowa. This is Indiana's first road game. Same with Rutgers going up to Minnesota. They didn't have to leave Piscataway the first month. Indiana didn't have to leave Bloomington for the first month. So this is the first enemy territory game. Kinnick's going to be rocking. It's homecoming. Going to be a bunch of people back. People are going to be hyped for this game. I think the defense and the adjustments they made in the second half they're going to have a better start. I feel like they have to have a better start than they did against Rutgers. I think they can do that again on Saturday. I think this is a game that can be within a touchdown. So I'm going to take Iowa to cover. When everybody's talking about one thing being a surefire thing, the opposite sometimes happens. Sometimes you fade the public emotionally. Maybe if you have a betting app, you do that same as well. But, hey, it's been 10 games. It's been almost 4 years since Penn State in 21. Who knows? You got a quarterback with a live arm and a passing game that's working a little down. We talked about that throw to Dayton on Friday, maybe the biggest throw since Spencer to Nico in 21. As a kid said in Angels in the Outfield, hey, it could happen. So I'm going to take Iowa to cover, and I think it will be a really great game. And if it was only not on Peacock, all due respect to Peacock, but hey, update your subscriptions as needed there. Final thoughts before we wrap it up here.
I do have a piece of trivia I'd like to give you guys.
All right, sure, yeah, let's go.
That's a bit topical with Coach Mike Gundy getting fired from Oklahoma State yesterday, including Kirk Ferentz. Now with Gundy gone, there's only 3 other coaches across the nation in FBS football who have been at their respective school, tenured for more than 15 years. Can you name those 3 other coaches alongside Kirk Ferentz?
Kyle Whittingham,
very good,
Utah.
Yes. Which is an interesting note that Kyle Whittingham is on that list, that him and Kirk are 1-2 because they are also 1-2 in the longest current streak of pick 6 seasons Iowa and Utah are, weirdly.
I feel like a cheater because I did see this graphic somewhere on Twitter, and now I blanked on the last 2 names, so I bet I could pull them out if I was looking through the conferences, but James Franklin's one?
He's not.
Not, okay, that was 2012.
2014 was his first year at
that's right.
Penn State.
Is it a group of 5?
One is group 5, one is Power 5.
Chuck Martin's not 15 years at Miami of Ohio, is he?
Chuck
or is
Martin, he started in 2014 as well.
Yeah,
so no.
Eastern Michigan's coach, been there a long time.
He has been, but he is not.
Former Drake coach Chris Creighton.
Very good.
Yeah, Ron English is there. I was in West Michigan when he got fired from Eastern Michigan, so not quite 15 years.
Former Hawkeye is not far off of this list.
Jay Norvell.
Mark Stoops,
I
has
didn't
been
know.
at Kentucky since 2013.
I can't think of that third one.
Neither can I.
Well, there's two more that you're missing.
There's two more?
Oh, I thought.
One is a group of five.
And one is a power five.
How long do we want to drag this podcast on
There's
with
one that you're
random
going to kick
guesses?
yourself about that's very well known. That's won.
Give me a conference.
ACC. He's won at least one national title.
Ooh.
Oh, Dabo.
Oh, yeah.
2009. The other one is a little harder. Troy
His name
Calhoun.
might be on the list if we get more.
Troy Calhoun has been at
Clemson
Air
lost.
Force since 2007.
I wouldn't have got that one. I should have got Dabo, though.
Respected the service academies there. All right. Again, if you were watching on the Iowa's News Now YouTube channel, thank you. Go ahead and subscribe there. That channel's been growing like crazy the last couple of years. You can follow the playlist for Eye on the Hawks, I believe, Mike. Am I lying about that? Is that a thing that can happen? That's what I thought, yeah. Again, all of our podcasts throughout the months and years are there. You can also, again, on Tuesdays, get all of our uncut player interviews. You're just getting a little bit during the podcast. We usually come out with half-hour worth of Mark Gronowski and whoever else is out there, so go ahead and consume that. And again, if you're just on the audio side, you've got this in on a run, for a workout, on the drive to work, wherever you're going, we are there as well. So listen to us wherever you get your podcast. We'll be back Sunday recapping whatever in the world happens at homecoming for the Hawkeyes. It's going to be a great atmosphere in Kinnick Stadium. Also, of course, you got your Friday Night Football, Eastern Iowa OT, also streaming on the Iowa's News Now YouTube channel at 11 o'clock and airs multiple
week's
times,
11:30.
11:30.
There's a late college football game. Also, I don't think you can follow a playlist, but you can follow our Iowa's News Now page.
Yeah, there you go. Just click follow. You guys know how YouTube works. You get every like and subscribe prompt for every video ever. So yeah, we'll just keep covering football stuff, and after this, we'll turn the page to October. It'll be a lot of fun. Thanks again to Erica, everything behind the scenes today. For Mike and Owen, I'm Mitch. See you on Sunday on Eye on the Hawks.
At DePaco Credit Union, we value your health and happiness as much as your financial well-being. What's your dream? A trip? A new home? Or maybe it's a green electric bass guitar. No matter the goal, we're here to help you create a plan that helps you achieve it. Share your dreams with us, and we'll work with you to turn them into reality. Well-being is the key to a life worth loving, so when you think about yours, remember that DePaco can help you be well.